بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. ببركة ومدد سيد الشيخ محمد فوزي الكركري قدس الله سره. أبدأ وأقول: How are you guys? I welcome you today with Karkari Speak English. I am your brother Hamouda Al-Rushaid from Kuwait, and today we have a special guest. He is one of our heavy guests, not in body but in knowledge, and in one of our great disciples, mashallah tabarakallah. He is 4 years or 5 years in the tariqah now, and he have a lot of stories to tell you today with Sidi Sheikh and his spiritual experience. And I hope today when you listen to him, it's going to have impact on your life and on your decision of becoming one of the disciples in Tariqa Karkariya. So our guest today is brother Sidi Mubin. I welcome you today to our Karkariya Speak English.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you so much, Sidi Hamouda, for having me.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome. And please, want to share with us, please, a little bit about yourself, a biography about you.
Sure. So, as you said, my name is Mubin Ahmed. I'm 26 years old. Born and raised in New York to Pakistani parents.
Yeah.
I did my studies, my undergraduate studies at Fordham University in political economics, visual arts, and Arabic. Then I went to Taiwan to teach English for 1 year.
Nice.
After that, I applied for my master's at the University of Chicago in Islamic Studies, which I completed just this past summer, alhamdulillah. And now I'm looking forward to starting my PhD program, a doctoral program, also in the same field, Islamic Studies. Inshallah, in this coming September, October.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best, Sidi.
Thank you.
MashaAllah,
Thank you.
tabarakallah.
Inshallah.
And the first question to tell you, Sidi Mubin, how was your life before Tariqa Karkariya, before you became a disciple? How was your life like, especially your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Subhanallah. So, I was born to Muslim parents,
Yeah.
and however, I was also born in America. So, although we grew up in an Islamic environment, my parents prayed, read Quran, and taught us to do the same. We didn't really follow, you know. When you're surrounded by so much dhulma and freedom, as Americans love to say,
Yeah.
you don't really care so much about religion.
Yeah.
I had a strong love for Allah and Islam in my heart. I knew it was the right religion, and I knew that this was the way forward. But you know, when you're a young man, and there's so many distractions, and the only way to be socially popular or accepted is to do the same actions that everyone around you is doing. So you easily give in, right? When you don't have a strong rope to hold on to, you give in.
Exactly.
So my life until basically until the middle of my undergrad, so until I was a sophomore, around the age of 18, 19, was full of, okay, I'll just be very clear, yani drugs, partying, although not, you know, drugs, partying, going out, doing everything you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, speeding on the highway and
Yeah.
cheating on exams and living life, you know.
Yeah.
Like in one time, a time came to me when, subhanallah, like none of these things were fulfilling. And I would go to the extreme of everything I did. So if I got into video games, I got into video games. I became the number one, yani, for myself, not on the player boards and all this. I would play video games every day. If I got into drugs, it starts from cigarettes to weed to acid to mushrooms, yani, all the way to the top. If I do yani, anything, I do to the extreme.
Yeah.
You know, I as soon as the first chance I got, I moved away from my parents and got my own space. If I listen to music, it's the loudest volume. If I, you know, anything I do is to the extreme.
Yeah.
But subhanallah, like my heart never felt at peace with all those things. No matter how much I went, I always felt empty inside. So Safi, one time, alhamdulillah, like Allah took me to a point where you know that hadith, like Allah, that hadith that a man does the actions of someone bound for hellfire
Yeah.
until he's yani one step away.
Yeah.
this is not correct, so don't criticize me. I'm paraphrasing. Until Allah saves him, and his destiny catches up to him, Allah saves him. So I subhanAllah, or he walks on the actions of heaven, someone bound for heaven, and until destiny catches up to him, and he goes to hell. So subhanAllah, I lived this. Like I did everything that someone who's hell-bound did. The worst things is I broke the hearts of the people who loved me. Most importantly, my mother and my father. Subhanallah. So there came a point in my college, middle of my college year, that I had enough, and I was upset with myself. I was disappointed in myself. I was ashamed of myself. And I didn't know where to go or what to do or anything. But I had heard that the closest that a Muslim can be to Allah is when they're in sujood, when they're in prostration. So I went into prostration. This was right after I had smoked the biggest joint you can smoke. And I was like, Safi, I'm done. I threw it away. I said, Allah, I'm here. So I went into sajda. I don't know. I went into sajda. I'm like, Ya Allah, like, if you don't save me, I cannot save myself. I have nowhere to turn to. I have nowhere to go. I don't know what to do. If you don't save me, no one can. And I have no one, and like, guide me. After that, I went to sleep. If you smoke so much, that's it, you're going to sleep. Sleep or eat. After that, I went to sleep.
Nice.
I had a dream during this time. In this dream, I'm in this beautiful land. It seemed like I'm in heaven, right? It's blue skies, green rolling hills, and I see on top of this one hill is this tree. It's a tree full of colors. Every line of the bark and the leaves and the trees is like shining rainbows, and subhanAllah, I can't even describe it. Glowing, glowing, glowing. Every color you can imagine and colors you can't imagine. And I walk up to the tree, and on the tree it says, we have loved you since before there was even love. Before we could even speak of love, we have loved you. So I woke up and I was like, like subhanAllah, like, I don't understand the dream. Khair. Fast forward, so this is my life before the tariqah. Okay? I started praying. Ramadan was right around the corner, so I started going to Taraweeh prayers, and I met a good friend of mine, Sidi Marwan Jadoui. He's a Tunisian researcher. He's currently a researcher at Yale. When I met him, he was at Columbia University. MashaAllah, like he told me about his sheikh, and then his sheikh, which is currently Sidi Sheikh Muhammad Fawzi al-Karkari, I was interested, but I already had a sheikh that was connected to my family, so I kept my distance. I said, okay, you have your sheikh, I have my sheikh, everyone has a sheikh, yallah, no problem.
Yes.
So, one day it came to the point when I wasn't receiving anything from my sheikh.
The previous one?
My previous sheikh.
Okay.
And Sidi Marwan, he told me of this saying by Ibn Mashish, a huge sheikh from Morocco. He told me that Ibn Mashish said that your sheikh is not the one who gives you a lot of work, adhkar and ibadah and work, and you get tired. That's not your sheikh. And your sheikh is not the one who leads you to dunya, use your Sufi status to run for politics or fool people. This is not your sheikh. The real sheikh is the one who takes you to Allah. Nishan, directly, takes you to Allah. That's your sheikh. So I started thinking, like, okay, my sheikh, my previous sheikh, he's in Pakistan, I'm in America, I don't talk to him, he doesn't talk to me. So what kind of sheikh is this? So, but I didn't know what to do, because also in Tasawwuf, in Sufism, breaking your commitment to one sheikh is a very bad thing. Well, this also exists, that if you have not received anything from your sheikh, then this is not a real sheikh. This is not a real relationship. The sheikh has not given you anything. You have not benefited from his companionship. So you can continue searching for the sheikh who takes you to Allah. And with the previous sheikh, I was doing a lot of work. Adhkar, I was reading Surah Ikhlas 1,000 times a night. Surah Salawat 1,000 times a night. I was praying Tahajjud, every prayer and things on top. And subhanAllah, like those things, I was collecting deeds. Good deeds, hasanat. It was a beautiful time, a great thing, but I was tiring myself out. So I decided to pray istikhara. My friend told me, pray istikhara. Okay, I prayed istikhara.
Istikhara for what reason?
I prayed istikhara because I wanted Allah to take me to a sheikh like the shuyukh I had read about.
Cool.
Ibn Arabi, Rumi, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, like who are these people? These Ahlullah, these Awliyaullah, like I want to be with them, right? And I want to do anything to be like them, to be with them. And I was like, in this world, 21st century, where can you find that?
Yeah.
Nowhere, probably, like impossible. But I knew that the real deen, Islam, is preserved by awliyaullah. Those who are closest to Allah. And after the Prophet ﷺ, who do we have? Awliyaullah. So I knew that if I want my deen to be preserved, if I want to avoid these, right now what we have is like shuyukh arguing over shuyukh, this guy's a kafir, this guy's a this guy's a that. You don't, one day you're listening to someone, next day you find out he did something with someone and he's not even Muslim anymore. I didn't want to be lost, I didn't want to be confused. I didn't want to one day be with a sheikh and find out something and now I don't know where I stand with my deen, where's my community, who are my people, like where is Islam? Is Islam just like Christianity and Judaism? There's 6,000 different groups and everyone's fighting, like where is Islam? Like Allah is the guide, Al-Hadi, and He's the guide from the time of the Prophet and before and to this day. So I wanted to be guided. So I prayed istikhara, Ya Allah, take me to the wali. Show me who he is, give me a sign, whoever it is. Is it Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani? Is it Sidi Sheikh Muhammad Fawzi al-Karkari? If it's Sidi Sheikh Muhammad Fawzi al-Karkari, if it's him, give me a sign. And if it's him, I'll drop everything. I'll leave my job, I'll leave my work, I'll leave my family, I leave all the Islam I knew, and I go to him because you guided me there. I'll go there right now. So I'm praying the istikhara, and I'm very emotional because I want a sign from Allah, and I've never asked Allah for a sign. I've only asked Him for more money and to get married, but this is my first time I'm saying, Allah, like, here I am, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but you have to guide me. And if you don't guide me, I can't guide myself. So I praise Khara and I asked Allah, here is a sheikh in Morocco, my friend told me about him, and he's claiming to be a wali. I've never heard someone claim to be a wali. Either their followers say that this guy's a wali or a qutub or whatever, or you read about them in books. So I don't have time to wait 600 years for someone to die and then I read about him. I want now. So I said, Ya Allah, like, take me to the wali, guide me. And this is what istikhara is. You consult with Allah to guide you. The Prophet ﷺ used to teach the Sahaba the Quran and istikhara. He used to teach them how to pray istikhara just like he would teach them the Quran. Right? So if he taught him like this, that means use this. You will not be misguided. So I prayed istikhara. I'm standing there. It's like right before Fajr. I'm crying. I'm emotional. I'm like, Allah, Ya Allah, give me a sign. Is Sidi Sheikh Muhammad Fawzi al-Karkari, is he a wali? And should I go to him? Should I follow him? Should I listen to him? Will he take me to you? Will he connect me to Rasulullah ﷺ? Will he connect me to Allah? If he will take me, give me a sign. Give me a sign right now. This is maybe bad adab with Allah, like as though I'm commanding astaghfirullah. Well, I came to this stage. And while I'm praying in the place where you go into sujood, into prostration, a big light starts shining and like waves start coming out of it, waves of light. And I'm like, subhanallah, like, it's prayer, I can't rub my eyes, so I'm just looking and blinking like, subhanallah, like, is this real? And it's real. I'm awake. I'm awake, I'm praying, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I'm in my full senses. I say, subhanallah, like, Allah, I received my sign. And then I remembered I have to finish my prayer, I go into sujood, ruku, sujood. And as soon as I get my sign, I text my friend, Marwan. I tell him, Yalla, call your sheikh, I'm going to take bay'ah right now. He said, oh, call my sheikh. He said, this is not, you have to do wird for 40 days, you have to show that you can be committed to this path. This is not easy. I said, okay, I'm going to book a flight. This is peak COVID. This is December. This is the month of December, 2020. Everything's shut down. Everyone's wearing masks, and except for Americans. People are going crazy. I tell my mom, I'm flying. I'm going to Morocco. She said, Safi, who can control boys? I book a flight. I go straight to the Zawiya. I meet Sidi Sheikh. Subhanallah. And
tell us more about your first time seeing Sidi Sheikh in person.
My first time Sidi Sheikh in person?
How was it?
Yani nothing I describe will do justice to this experience. And the way that I saw him then, yani every time you see him and you look into his eyes, you're overwhelmed by the majesty, you know. And yani on paper, this is a human being born in Morocco. He walks, he eats, he sleeps. Well, like in America now, we have this, we call it aura.
Yeah.
Yani he has 10 million aura, you know. You sit with him and you start shaking.
Yeah.
So the first time I came and sat with him in his office, you know, like adab with awliya Allah, you don't look at them. Yani you have respect. Yani you don't start staring like you're at a zoo. You sit there quietly, and I would sneak peeks, you know, look at him when he's not looking, look down.
Yeah.
And I remember what I remember from that day is his eyes. It was as if like light was coming from them. Subhanallah, it was like I'm looking into a universe, you know. Subhanallah, and I was just like, I was awestruck. I was like, Subhanallah, and he asked me, Mubin, what do you want? Yani, why did you come? So I said, Sidi, you know, I want Allah. He said, okay. 3 days later, and then I met Sidi Sheikh. He said, okay, Bismillah, marhaba, you're welcome to the Zawiyah. He said, come sit with us, eat with us, with the disciples, with the fuqara, and you're welcome. You can sleep, eat, everything, pray with us, and then inshallah we will see. And the fuqara is another level. And for the first time in my life, I see men and women, not women are in the other section, but I see men who are striving and doing mujahad nafs, like striving against themselves in ways that I've only read about in books, and I've only heard about from Sahaba. You know, there are disciples who are fasting only with dates for futur and suhoor. There are disciples who they're not speaking. You know, they're doing fasting, talking, all of this to struggle against their nafs and to know Allah. I saw disciples. I see them at 8 p.m. Starting to pray at night. And standing, and at 9 p.m. I see them in ruku. Yani they're still, yani for hours they're standing. 3 a.m. they're in sajda, they're in prostration for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And I'm like, man, I'm getting tired looking at you. Subhanallah, like I love this. Everyone's praying together, everyone's sitting together. We eat all together. Everyone sleeps, and it's like everyone has left the comfort of their home and their families, and there's young and old, and everyone is here. All for what? To know Allah, to be with the wali, to know who they are and why they were created, and to know their creator, and that's it. And I was like, Subhanallah, like I want to be with them. I want to be here. 3 days later, after I lived this, and Sidi Sheikh called me again to his office, and I took bay'ah. So this is my life before tariqah.
Yeah,
it's a long response. Life before tariqah, to give you a summary, dark. Like life after tariqah, light. Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. Yeah, that's very, very good. Like the listener need to know this, because sometimes they think that all of the Sufism are like saints and they want Allah from the beginning. No, all of us have dark past. All of us, we're very away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Exactly.
SubhanAllah, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mercy, everyone can alhamdulillah be guided to the light. And see the Shaykh now alive, so we are very, very lucky.
Very lucky.
So I want to tell you now, this is the most crucial moment of your life, taking the bay'ah from Sidi Shaykh. So the moment when you are touching his hand, taking the bay'ah, closing your eyes. First of all, what do you mean by bay'ah? Is it like selling yourself as a slave? Is it like, what is bay'ah, So talk to me more about bay'ah, and then your experience with Sidi Shaykh when you took that act.
So bay'ah, I think in Arabic, you know more, but it means to sell, right?
Bay'ah, yes.
Bay'ah, to sell. So it comes from Surah Fat in the Quran. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُبَايِعُونَكَ إِنَّمَا يُبَايِعُونَ اللَّهَ. Yani those who sell themselves have only sold themselves to Allah. Those who take bay'ah, and this is something the Prophet ﷺ did with the Sahaba. Right? He took bay'ah with all of them. And so they knew that we are taking an oath, we are taking a pledge of allegiance. Why an oath? Why a pledge of allegiance? Yani we should only take bay'ah with Allah, right? But the way I understand it is, for any goal, we have to make a commitment. In the world, this is common. If you go to PhD or medical school or to become a lawyer, you're taking an oath with yourself and with the school, and you're entering into a contract or a commitment to study, to do the work, to stay up at night and work hard, and to let go of your family and going out and partying, and to study and to work hard and to read all night and to pass exams and to do really hard things in order for a goal, to become a doctor, to become a lawyer, to accomplish something in this world, so that you can become a trusted source. When you're a doctor, you have the knowledge, you have an immense knowledge to heal people, to treat diseases, to study the human body. So this, in order to access this knowledge, this higher knowledge, this ulwi knowledge, you make a commitment to embark on this path. So tasawwuf is the same. You accept that there is someone who has done this journey, who is an authority in this field, the Shaykh, the Wali, who has been chosen by Allah, who you have been guided to by Allah with istikhara, and you take a bay'ah with him. You say, Bismillah, I make a commitment to go with you on this journey, to figure out, to learn who I am, and to reach Allah. And there's no end to Allah, so you're always reaching Allah. You're always getting closer and closer. So that's what you do. You take bay'ah with the Shaykh, and knowing that the real bay'ah is with Allah, that the actual bay'ah is with Allah, and the Shaykh is the intermediary. So you take this bay'ah with the Shaykh, and the Shaykh, as I said before about the quote of Ibn Mashish, he has to guide you to Allah nisha. What does this mean, guide you to Allah? How can he guide you to Allah nisha? So read the Quran, read the Sunnah, read the Prophet's life, alayhi salatu wasalam. So you know the verse better than me. I will say it in English, like Allah is the wali of the believers who takes them out of darkness into light. So the Prophet, and the Quran also says that when a Bedouin came to the Prophet and said, we are believers, we are mu'minun. And he said, don't say you are mu'minun, say you are a Muslim, right? You have believed and you have submitted. You're not mu'min yet. So these are levels. So Allah, Allah is the wali. He's the one who takes them out of darkness into light. Okay. So we know the framework. The wali takes you from darkness to light. Okay. Is this light metaphorical? And he just talks to you sweet words, light, light, light. Everyone nowadays talks about light and mashallah, Allah is light, Prophet is light. No, but this is a real light, a light that you can see. Why? Because the Prophet said it himself, and the Sahaba experienced it themselves. Iman is nur, Salat is nur, the Quran is nur, the Prophet is nur, Sirajul Munir, Allah is nur, Allahu nur samawati wal ard. Right, so this nur is visible. Why? Because the Prophet said that beware of the firasa of the mu'min, because he sees with the light of Allah. Okay, so we have a standard. How can we measure if the Shaykh or the Wali is a real Wali, has really taken you to Allah, when he shows you the light? So when I took bay'ah with Sidi Shaykh, first I was scared. Man, I watched all these videos of fuqara and disciples seeing light, seeing the Prophet ﷺ, having strong visions after meeting with the Shaykh. And I thought, man, I'm going to be the one disciple who fails. I'm too dark. I did too many drugs, my eyes they can't work. Even now I have thick glasses. How can I see? So I went to see the Shaykh's office. Remember, 3 days later he invited me to his office. He said, Marhaba, come sit. He sat in front of me, my hand is in his hands, and he started making prayer. And he started to make prayer to Allah, making dua. Ya Allah, and he put light in his heart. He started reading the verse, Inna alladhina yubayunaka innama yubayun Allah, and on. And he told me, Mubin, do istighfar. And think, cleanse your niyyah. Why did you come here? Why did you do all this journey and flight ticket and istikhara and this? For what? So cleanse your niyyah. Think about why you're here. I'm doing stuff for Allah, my eyes are closed, and I'm really trying. I'm like, what am I gonna see? Am I gonna see the sun or the moon, or what kind of light am I gonna see? LEDs. What's gonna happen? But I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm like, so my eyes are closed, and Sidi Shaykh is praying, and I'm doing astaghfirullah, and again I become very emotional. This is it's like entering your grave. That's it. You're gonna meet Allah now, and you're scared because what if you're not good enough? What if that's it? Like Allah has rejected you. So you're thinking all these things, and closing, and I see something like grey, and I don't know if I'm just moving my eyes, but Sidi Shaykh said, Hafil bay'ah is done. He said, go sit by yourself in the masjid and do istighfar again. Close your eyes and just focus on Allah. you know. Okay, so I went from his office, I sat down. I used this scarf, not the same one, another scarf. Now I have a whole collection of scarves. Yeah, tied my eyes so I cannot be confused by anything. You know, I don't mistake anything. I'm in complete darkness. I'm doing istighfar, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. I'm really like, Ya Allah, like, show me the nur as you showed me before, and I'm here and I'm willing to do anything, and please, like I know I'm in darkness, and you know you're the only one who can guide me, and I came to your wali, I followed your ishara, like if you don't save me now, I have nowhere else to turn to. Yani, who can save me except for you? And then I began to see like a huge, like I'm entering into a tunnel of light, and it's like flying by me. It's like I'm riding into the yeah, you know, like Star Trek when they enter hyperspeed and they go, it's all light, and I was like, Subhanallah. As soon as I saw the light, I took off the scarf and I ran. I was like, man, I did it. I'm the one, you know. Allah saved me. Allah, you know. I ran upstairs, and then I see Sidi Sheikh walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
And he says, Mubin, did you see the light? I said, Alhamdulillah, Sidi, I saw it.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, shwiya, yani, keep working step by step, udhkur, like do dhikr, and the light will increase. Alhamdulillah, I was so happy. The last thing I want to end with is this was December 23rd, 2020, when I took bay'ah and I saw the light. Alhamdulillah. By the barakah of Sidi Sheikh. Then I returned to America. I was just there for 2 weeks. It was my Christmas break from working. I went to Sidi Sheikh's office again. Okay, alhamdulillah, Sidi, I'm returning to America. Okay, may God be with you, and you know, do your word. The bay'ah that you took, the commitment for you, the work that you have to do is twice a day, dhikrullah. Half an hour, yani istighfar, salat al-nabi, la ilaha illallah, alhamdulillah, wa shukrillah. Said do this morning and night, and your 5 times prayers, and always be in a state of wudu, and you know, keep reading and about listen to our lectures and these kind of things, and slowly by slowly you will go on this path to Allah. Okay. I remember the last thing he told me was, he said, Mubin, like we have loved you since even before. And I remembered my dream. When I saw that tree and was kind of like, subhanallah. 3 years later, I received that response of who I was in front of, and who was talking to me, and who loved me, and Sidi Sheikh as the wali. This is a sign from Allah. And subhanallah, like the difference between my life before and life after is sakina, peace in my heart, and itminan, and yaqeen, and the beginning of love. I can't say I love Allah, this is a huge statement to make, but I'm beginning to taste love, that the fact that Allah has been with me from even before I knew, and even before I sinned and did good and came to Him, He was with me. When I was in my deepest darkness, and even now He's with me. All I have to do is open my eyes and see that His light is everywhere. Alhamdulillah.
That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us first, and then we love Him. So it's all started from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is no sin in the world that can, let's say, reject this love. Allah loves you, He will love you, and He will bring you back. And He will tell you, go do with everything, and then you will come back to me, because nothing will give you fulfillment except this way.
Alhamdulillah.
So alhamdulillah, mashallah, thank you so much, brother. And mashallah, now we have a question also from one of the fakirat, Fawziya bin Musa. She asked us a question. And also if you have a question, please just let it in the comment for Sidi Mubin to answer. So the question from Lalla Fawziya said, what is the deepest wisdom you have learned from Sidi Sheikh?
Subhanallah. Beautiful question. Thank you, Lalla Fawziya.
Do you know Lalla Fawziya?
Yes. Alhamdulillah. She's a great fakira, does a lot of work for the tariqah. We know her very well. Alhamdulillah. The deepest wisdom that I've learned from Sidi Sheikh. Subhanallah, like every word from him is a deep wisdom. It's like the Quran or the Hadith. You take one word, you can spend your whole life on it. And I keep unpacking the meanings and the meanings and the meanings. Sidi Sheikh says, like, kullu kalam ma'ani. All of his words have meanings and meanings and meanings. Because, why is this? Because the Sheikh, as the wali, as someone who has traveled the path and completely fana fillah, annihilated in Allah, he has gotten closer and closer and closer and closer to Allah. Yani Allah and His 99 names, Asma al-Husna. One of Allah's names is Al-Alim, the knower, right?
Yeah.
So when you get so close to the knower, every word of yours has deep knowledge and wisdom because you're so close to the knower.
Yeah.
You're so annihilated in the knower. You're annihilated in the one who has all the knowledge. So when you speak, your words have knowledge.
Yeah.
Subhanallah. The deepest wisdom, that's why I'm on the spot now.
Yeah.
Yani, the deepest wisdom, I will say that Sidi Sheikh taught me that more than your words, it's your actions. And be very careful what you claim and what you say because everything will be a test for you. And subhanAllah, like I reflect on this often. The deepest wisdom, Sidi Sheikh. SubhanAllah.
So there was a lot of wisdom.
There's many wisdoms. I will say that he taught us that there's a reality to everything you say, to what you believe and what you think, and always try to reach the highest reality of these things. But yeah, I will summarize it in one way. Sidi Sheikh taught us that don't go from one creation to another creation, but always look at the Creator. Don't go from khalq to khalq to khalq, but go to the Khaliq. Don't go from rizq to rizq, but go to raziq. Don't go from karam or but go to kareem. And always go to the source. Always look at the source. Always look, when you see a thing, you should see Allah before it, after it, in front of it, behind, everywhere. So why is this important? Why is this deep? Because when I'm in university and people are making fun of me for the way I dress, I don't see, oh man, my friends who used to like me don't like me anymore because of the way I dress. No, I see Allah is testing me.
Yeah.
When I see a tree, I don't see, oh mashallah, life and tree and photosynthesis and this. No, I see a razik. All around me a razik. All around me a kareem. All around me al-hadi. When I see, when I'm walking in the street and I'm doing groceries, or I'm driving on the highway and I see a sign that says, anything, or I see everything is an ishara, everything is Allah speaking to me. Why? Because I don't stop at the form, I don't stop at the book, but I look at the author. I don't stop at and this is something I'm always trying to look at. I don't stop at, oh my God, I have bills and problems, but I look at where are these, who's responsible? Allah. So how can I ever be afraid or not have hope or worry about things when everything is in Allah's hands? And this Sidi Sheikh reminds us, gives you peace in your heart. When the people are happy with you, you don't care. When the people are mad at you, you don't care because you're with Allah.
That's very nice wisdom, mashallah. And it's a lot of wisdom, and subhanAllah, like you saw, like Halim and living with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's really, I told you like before we started to have this, learn from Sidi Sheikh and also his family.
Yeah.
Like even the smallest one, which is Sidi Abdul Rahman.
Yeah.
I told you the story, like when, some of the disciple gave him a candy, so I wanted to, let's say, to teach him some, say thank you to this disciple.
Yeah.
So I said, thank you, brother, for this. And brother Sayyid Abdul Rahman said, thank you, Allah.
Yeah.
No, not thank you, this. So thank you, Allah. Directly.
How old is Abdul Rahman?
It's like 5 years.
5 years old, and his wisdom that comes from awliya.
Exactly, because he's the son of Sidi
exactly.
Sheikh, so, and now we're going to take a little break. We're going to listen to one of the Sidi Sheikh poems. It's very nice from Sidi Yusuf Kazweet. So, and then we're going to come back with Sidi Mubin to complete our interview and see you again. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, that's Professor Yusuf Kazweet from Chicago University, one of the disciples of Sidi Sheikh. And that's one of the poems of Sidi Sheikh. There's a lot of them also on YouTube. You're gonna have so much fun, listening to these. And it's exactly like for me, I started this tariqah just listening to these Sufism songs, just one of the songs. But subhanAllah, after I listened to them, I saw my first mushahada. So please, it's a powerful message in these poems because it's from the words of Sidi Sheikh, which is the wali. And now we're gonna get back to the last two questions with Sidi Mubin. And question is, Sidi Mubin, what is your PhD research on? What is your PhD research, and how does it relate to the Karkari?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I did my master's at the University of Chicago, actually with Sidi Yusuf Keswit. He's the chair of Islamic Studies there. So I did my master's there. Inshallah, I will begin my PhD research there as well. So my PhD research, my proposal, my project has to do with mystical experience and consciousness. So in the history of the world and religious experience, there is many societies, many famous philosophers, Socrates, Plato, many religious figures like Hermes of Trismegistus, and also to this day a lot of indigenous religions, syncretic religions, they have used various practices, sometimes even plants and medicines, to alter their consciousness, to enter into a state of altered consciousness. So the first level of consciousness is what we all experience, right? We have our five senses, we experience dimension, space, time, normal. Okay. People like Socrates and so on and so forth, they would do various practices, for example, entering into a cave, everything is dark, meditating, doing dhikr, various formulas, praying to Allah, fasting, and they would attain a higher level of consciousness, which would give them knowledge. So Socrates speaks about this, Plato speaks about this. Plato has a famous story of this. In fact, there's a wonderful book by Yulia Ustinova who speaks about Plato and Socrates, and they would have, if a Muslim reads it, he will say that, subhanAllah, it sounds like the angel Gabriel, Sayyidina Jibreel, is speaking to Socrates. So the experience that he's describing is like a light is coming, speaking to him and giving him knowledge. And that's why we have so much like wonderful Socratic wisdom and so on and so forth. Fast forward to today, this practice of altering consciousness continues. People use drugs like psychedelics and whatnot to experience things that they would not normally be able to experience, right? You have stories of people taking psychedelics and realizing that all the world is connected and is ultimately one, and so on and so forth. So I wanted to learn from this research and then apply it to the Karkariya. Why apply it to the Karkariya? Because in the Tariqa Karkariya, by doing dhikr, by focusing your intention, by clearing your mind, by clearing your heart and fighting against yourself and doing dhikr, you have a vision of light. And beyond the vision of light, the vision of light is the first thing. You see nur, right? As the Prophet ﷺ said and described in the Quran, how it's described, you see nur, but then beyond that you begin to learn from the nur. The nur is, it's being present with Allah. You have hudur ma Allah, right? So then Allah begins to teach you. There's a story of a disciple in the Karkariya who is sitting, he's doing dhikr, and his eyes are closed, he's doing dhikr, and then he sees a full moon in front of him. And then from this moon of light, and it's not the actual moon, from this moon of light, the Prophet ﷺ comes out, he sees the Prophet, and he begins to speak to the Prophet about a question he has about fiqh, something he doesn't understand. And the Prophet ﷺ teaches him. This is right now, 21st century, so this person is altering his consciousness with dhikr, with being present with Allah, and is gaining knowledge. And this is normal. When you really fight against yourself and you become, you purify your heart, so then Allah teaches you Himself. Subhanallah. And one of our shuyukh, Abu Abbas al-Mursi, he said that if the Prophet, if I were to not see the Prophet for even 1 second, if the Prophet, and he was only 600-700 years ago, he said, if I were to not see the Prophet for even 1 second, I would not consider myself Muslim. So he was constantly witnessing the Prophet, and the Prophet ﷺ was constantly with him. So this experience, this state, is an altered state of consciousness. It's not normal consciousness. So our Shaykh teaches us how to purify our heart and to achieve this state. And in the Islamic tradition, we call this sir. It's a higher level of knowledge. It's direct realization and presence with Allah. Okay, so my research concerns this. I want to explore this in the tariqah. in tasawwuf, in the Karkariya. It's subhanallah, it's an amazing opportunity. It's a living sheikh, it's a living tariqah. The sheikh is actively teaching disciples what to do, how to deal with the noor, how to transform your life, how to transform your character with the noor, and so on and so forth. So that's my PhD research.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. I wish you all the best, Sidi, and inshallah when you complete it, you're going to share it.
Inshallah, yeah, I'm going to make everyone read it. It's going to be like one of these books.
Inshallah, ya Rabbi, inshallah. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. And so the question about this, the second one is the Karkariya just about the personal spiritual fulfillment, or does it have real world change and impact?
Yeah.
How?
SubhanAllah, great question. I mean, this is a question that a lot of spiritual people receive. Like, it's selfish. You know, you're becoming, you're going far away into a cave or into the forest, and you work on yourself, and then you come back, and the whole world is burning, and climate change, and wars, and everything, and you're sitting here doing nothing. But this is a common criticism.
Yeah.
But there's a wisdom by Jalaluddin Rumi who said that. You know, before I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. I wanted to go on political rallies and go tell everyone what to do and preach in the masjid and tell everyone you're horrible Muslims and this, and I wanted to change the world. But when I became wise, when I had wisdom, when I was with Allah, I realized that I only have to change myself. And subhanallah, our Shaykh, just today he was speaking about this, how you yourself are a community. And where you are, let's say the world, right? It's like your own body.
Yeah.
So the way that you treat with yourself, the way you deal with yourself, the way you take care of yourself, the attitude that you have, the perspective that you have, the thoughts that you have about Allah and yourself, and the way you deal with your family and this is all which you learn through tasawwuf, which you cleanse your heart and your actions and all these things. This has a direct impact on the world around you.
Exactly.
And this is what the Sunnah teaches us. SubhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ, when did he begin preaching to everyone? At the age of 40. And what was he doing for 40 years? He had the best akhlaq. He had the best dealing with people, the best dealing in business, the best dealing with his family, the best. So then, when he began to speak about Allah, everyone his wife believed him, his son, Sayyidina Ali believed him, the companions began to get closer to him and this and that. And but first he worked on himself.
The cave
and his family and his purifying himself. He would go into Ghar Hira, for weeks and months and seclude himself with Allah, work on himself, and then go out. And then begin to preach and tell others. If you cannot fix yourself, how can you help other people?
Exactly.
How can someone who's sick help the world?
Exactly. Yeah.
So in the Tariq al-Karkariya, we learn that by working on ourselves, we are changing the world around us. And not just sitting in a room doing dhikr and the world is changing. No. The difference is that you have, in the tariqah, we work on seeing the noor or being with Allah 24/7. Okay, how does this manifest? There's a Sidi Shaykh Qudus tells us that Sayyidina Fatima, she heard from the Prophet that when you give charity to a beggar, the money that you give reaches the hand of Allah before it reaches the hand of the beggar. Okay, subhanAllah. So she learned this from the Prophet. What did she do? What she and Sayyidina Aisha also used to do, before they would, with their money, they would put perfume and itar, so it smelled beautiful, and then they would give it. And because they know that this money is not going in the hand of the beggar, it's going to Allah, so it should be beautiful, it should be presented beautifully. SubhanAllah, there's a deep secret in this. Why? So that when you deal with people, when you deal with your work or your school and everything, you deal with it because you know you're dealing with Allah. When you're talking to someone, who's listening? Sami, the hearer, Allah. When you're going to work and you're dealing in business, who you're dealing with? Ar-Razzaq. When you see someone high or low or wherever, you're interacting with Allah. Your only focus is Allah. So you automatically are present with Allah. So you automatically act in a good way. And when you act in a good way, the domino effect. It leads to good in the world.
Exactly.
When you have light, if you go into a dark room with a candle, a small candle, what's going to happen? The whole room will light up. And light will reach the deepest corners, right? And the bigger your light is, the more it will illuminate the room. So Sidi Shaykh gives us a dot of light in our heart, and he says, walk amongst the people, right? And in the Quran it says this, right? Tamshi, walk amongst the people with the noor of Allah. So you get the noor of Allah, you begin to work on yourself, and by working on yourself, you work on the whole world around you. You go to your house, you go and you put light in one house, in your house, and then from this house your neighbor's house gets light, and from that neighbor the whole community gets light, and from this community the whole world after that changes. So the tariqa Karkariya, it's about personal purification and changing the world one step at a time, one light at a time.
Yep, exactly. And you start all this by yourself.
Of course.
Step by step, inshallah. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. And we're also going to take the last break, okay? And then we're going to have the last question. So we're going to start the break now. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, one of the greatest poems of Sayyid al-Shaykh. And thank you, Yusuf Kazwit and his beautiful family. Wish you all the best from Zawiya. And we have a question also from our sister Lalla Maryam Noorullah Karkari. She asked you, what did you learn from Siyaha? Siyaha is wandering.
Okay, so alhamdulillah, this was my first Siyaha with the tariqa Karkariya. Siyaha was something that I read about in books about shuyukh. They used to go walking, and I didn't know this was still possible. Well, like alhamdulillah, like Sidi Sheikh did it himself. For 10 years he wandered all of Morocco, to the point that when someone comes from somewhere, he knows the area, he knows the roads, he knows everything. So the disciple feels like subhanallah. So I went for 6 days. We walked from Moulay Bouazza to Faqih bin Salah. This is 120 kilometers. The first time in my life that I packed my bags and just started walking. And what I learned.
It was in winter, summer?
This is the winter. So this was January, the first few days of January. And subhanallah, I learned so many things. I mean, it's hard to encapsulate them. I wrote an article for the Al-Karkari Institute, founded by Sidi Sheikh. I wrote an article in English, so you can find more information there. But just to sum up, I learned through the best way, and the best way to learn anything is through experience.
Yeah.
And this is something in our tariqah that we do every day. You learn from experience. You don't learn from books, or you don't learn from listening to other people. You learn from doing. And learning by doing is the best way. So by walking day and night and sleeping on the street and not knowing where my food will come from or water and doing dhikr the whole time, I learned that Allah is with me. And Allah is with me even before I thought I needed Him. And Allah was taking care of me before I knew I needed taken care of. And Allah is talking to me through everything. He's speaking to me through the stones and the trees and the birds and the graffiti on the masjid. And subhanAllah, one of the places we stopped, it's a masjid. The building next to it is spray painted. I don't know who did it. He said, "Stop playing, you donkey." Oh. And I thought, oh man, my whole life I'm playing. I'm the donkey. Allah cannot be more clear than this. Subhanallah. But the most of all, subhanallah, I learned, I tasted 0.00001%, not even, of what our Shaykh experienced. Right? For us, we know that this journey will end. The siyaha will end. We know that after this I will go home, my family is waiting, my baby is waiting, I have a warm house, and this will end, this journey will end, and worst comes to worst, I have money in my pocket, I call a taxi, I get out of here. But our Shaykh, who walked for 10 years, who left his family behind, whose family left him, who walked and didn't know where he was going and didn't know when it was end. In 10 years, man, those 6 days felt like 3 months. And 10 years, I can't even imagine it. And the pain in my legs, and I can't even imagine the pain in his legs, and the pain that he felt most of all in his heart. And in these 6 days, I felt shwiya, closer to Allah. And imagine how he felt. And he knew that even though he is with no one, Allah is with him. And the earth, and you go from feeling constricted in your house or in the four walls of your house to tasting that all of the world is Allah made it for you. And the stars are your blanket and the earth is your bed. And you live this, and after that you feel free. You feel, subhanallah, like after this I have increased respect and love for my Shaykh, because he did this and he went through this pain and this struggle, and he came back only, why did he come back? Only to teach others about Allah and His nearness and how to get close to Him and how to get close to the Prophet ﷺ. And this is the sunnah of the Prophet, to walk. The Prophet walked from Mecca to Medina in the desert, and I walked with nice sneakers and good boots, and when there were rocks I just stepped on them, and the Sahaba used to walk with barefoot, and the rocks would cut their feet and they would say Alhamdulillah. So I think of them, and I'm trying to be with them, trying to be like them, and you begin to taste what it means to love the Prophet. If you love the Prophet, then walk in his footsteps. If you love the Wali, walk in his footsteps, like Sayyidina Musa and Sayyidina Khidr. So I tasted this a little bit. May Allah grant us the tawfiq to do more siyaha, to get closer to him, and to really appreciate and love our Shaykh, even though we can never truly love and appreciate. The same way that we cannot truly love and appreciate the Shaykh. The Shaykh and Allah, you can never really appreciate. The same way you can never truly appreciate your parents, the struggles that they went through.
And these are spiritual fathers.
Exactly, and he's our spiritual father, subhanAllah. So what I learned from siyaha, love and appreciation for those who have come before us, for our Shaykh, for Ahlul Bayt, for the Prophet ﷺ, and I gained the knowledge of how to read the signs that Allah is sending. Right? Allah sends you risalas, and He is al-Mursil. He sends you messages through everything. Don't think that, oh, Safi, like this is just a rock or this is just a tree. He's sending you a message. All the time He's speaking to you. The only condition is you're listening. So.
SubhanAllah, exactly. And we didn't learn how to learn this language and how to see this perspective except with see the Sheikh's support, after we did the bay'ah. And like Sayyidi Tahmeen in the previous interview, he said it's flawlessly come. You don't even try. It's like come to your heart,
Exactly.
Like always, let's say you read this Quran, you read this surah every day, it's okay. But in this specific day, in this specific moment, it's come another meaning. Because
100%.
Yeah, it's from Sayyidi Shaykh, this way. So that's why this path is the path of taste, and Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you all what we experience and more, inshallah. Last question, Sidi Mubin, thank you so much for everything that you said. This last question, what do you give advice for the people who are listening now, who aren't, let's say, with Sidi Shaykh or in Tariq al-Karkari?
SubhanAllah. If I were to give one advice to anyone watching and listening, I will say that on Yawm al-Qiyamah, when you're standing in front of Allah, can you truly say to Him, can you stand there face to face and say to Allah that, oh Allah, I tried everything, every avenue, every road, every book, I tried every way to get close to you and to know you. Can you really say that? Can you truly say to Allah, like, I went all around the world and I all I wanted was to be near you, and this is my proof, and even if you send me to hell, I know for myself and you know that I tried everything and I did everything in my power to get closer to you and to know you. Can you say that? Like, did you ever ask Allah to guide you? To Him, not for marriage or for a job or for this, but just for Allah. Did you ever ask Allah just for Allah? Have you ever, will you be able to say that on the Day of Judgment? Will you be able to say to Allah that, put me in heaven, put me in hell, but know that I did everything I could to get close to you and to be guided? Will you be able to say that? And if you're not able, then we have our life, we have our chance now to give one proof to Allah. Look, I prayed istikhara. I don't know these guys, these colorful clowns telling me to pray istikhara, or that this guy is a wali, or this and this. Safi, don't believe it, but at least you can show Allah, like, I prayed istikhara and I asked you to guide me. You didn't guide me to them, or you did guide me to them, not my problem, but did you do this? And if you didn't, then what will you say on that day? What do any of us have to show for ourselves? Our deeds? What do our deeds compare to to what Allah has given us? Just the power of sight. Can any of our deeds equal the gift that Allah gave us, the power of sight or the ability to move? So my advice to anyone watching or anyone who's listening and questioning themselves about this tariqah or this shaykh or this wali is, try it. Come, experience it for yourself, or at the very least to have a proof for yourself that you did everything you could. to get closer to Allah, to get closer to the Prophet ﷺ, and to truly experience for once in your life the taste of Iman. Right?
Safi, inshallah, tabarakallah. Thank you so much. And yeah, exactly like brothers have been said. And you know, some people said, I don't want to make istikhara because I really know that you are wrong people, you are mushrik. I said, okay, don't, we are what you are saying, you know, but follow Prophet Muhammad hadith when he said every 100 years Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives someone to the people, you know, to guide them. Mujaddid, they call it Mujaddid. So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is this Mujaddid? Maybe he's your sheikh of your masjid, we don't know, just ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have one story of a disciple, his name is Abdul Hafiz al-Ribati, one of our oldest disciple, mashallah, 17 years in the tariqah. When he prayed for Allah for istikhara, he said, oh Allah, send me for the most person that you love now, in this, you know, who is your most loved person in this area. And he got him to see the sheikh. So that's our, let's say, strong proof. Don't even ask for see the sheikh, ask who is the Mujaddid, oh Allah, and who is the most loved person that you love now, alive on this earth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show you. And I wish you all the best. That is, thank you, Sayyidi Mumin, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, of course. And inshallah, I wish you all the best, our listeners, and inshallah, we'll see you again in another episode. And I wish you all the best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If anything is right, is from Sidi Sheikh, and if anything wrong, is from our lower self. And I wish you all the best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.